Hello, everyone. And as I said when I saw that date, I'm scared of saying that date because the last time I did it, I radio breathed it. I am here. Welcome to Coffee with Curmudgeons. We're starting a little late. We had similar thing, and we're doing a lot better than Friday. And I'm here with my co-host, Bunky Moon.
Hi. Happy Monday.
Weren't you the former head of the UN?
Yes, and before that, most people don't know that I was the 7th member of Menudo.
Ah, very nice. No, you're Jason Allen.
Oh, I am, yes.
I should get a lower third going on that. That's always the wrong lower third in the morning. It says technical difficulty. No, let's just throw that up.
Yeah, okay. There we go.
And I'm here with Jason Allen. We're apologize for our technical difficulties.
Good morning. Happy morning to you.
We're fine, though.
Top of the morning to you.
We do not have technical difficulties.
No,
We're actually not. This is not Friday. We had what was Friday was supposed to be Awesome Friday or something like that.
Free for all Friday, sort of.
No, everyone came in here.
Yeah.
You and the sports reporter Jay-Z came in.
Jay-Z.
You guys were all like, "Hey, this is wow! We got sports. We're ready to go."
Yeah.
And you come in here, and I've got this look on my face. I'm like, "You're like, what's wrong?"
Yeah.
Like, gosh, you got a little late start there, Doc. Running around rebooting computers and stuff, and I'm like, "Yeah, power hit."
Well, I wouldn't say it's a technical issue. I would say maybe a speed bump, you know. On the road of life, you're going to run over speed bumps. It's cool.
Yeah, when our cue music coming out was That's Life.
That's life. That's right.
Life.
Listen here. Your guiding principle is riding high on Monday and shot down in May.
Oh, man. Is there no better line than that in a song?
No, because you know whenever...
Is that Willie Nelson?
No, that's Frank, the chairman of the board, dude.
But who wrote the song, though?
Oh, that's nice. That may be Willie, actually. You're right.
That's why I'm like, because Willie did a big.
Yeah.
Let me look that up, because now I gotta know. That's Life. But yeah,
Popper and a poet.
A pauper, a poet. I think that was
and a king.
So Sinatra made it famous.
Yes. Because every time you hear Frank do it, you know he's got his tie off, his shirt's open loose, he's got his little jacket cut over his shoulder, cigarette hanging out his mouth. Mm-hmm. You know, maybe he's got a martini. Who knows? Could be. Dean
Kay, and Kelly Gordon.
Really?
Wrote that. That's Life is a popular song written by Dean Kay and Kelly Gordon. And first recorded by Marion Montgomery. The most famous version is by Frank Sinatra. Released on his 1960. I didn't realize it was that. I thought it was a
later
older,
one?
No, older
early,
song. Yeah. Released
like 40s, 50s.
Yeah. 1966 album of the same name.
Wow, that is like mid Sands time for Las Vegas. He's in the Sands,
with Dino and with the Rat Pack,
dude. Sammy Davis Jr. Let's see, there was Joey Bishop.
That's right.
Yeah. So
Joey Bishop, right?
Right. Remember the Joey Bishop show?
And the Kennedys.
And Peter Lawford, yeah.
Of course, that was after, they had a falling out after the...
Right.
Yeah. Some after the election or whatever. I think Frank, after John F. Kennedy was elected, became president.
Yeah.
I think Frank just showed up one day at the White House like, "Hey, I'm here. What you got for me?" And they're like, "Go back to Vegas, Frank?
Right.
Frank? I don't know.
JFK can't be seen with you. What are you doing? You're no longer in the Rat Pack."
"Who are your two friends?" "Oh, Big Lou and Polly Walnuts.
Bobby New Nose and Nunzio, Yeah. We've been out making collections out in Jersey, and we figured we'd stop by and just,
That's some deep 60s conspiracy crap right there, man. Sinatra, the mob, JFK.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll ever know that story.
No. And the whole, Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
Where Bobby's got to show up to her place and tell her that, listen, you can't be, visiting Jack anymore.
Oh, my gosh.
And then she winds up...
Yeah.
I'm not throwing out any conspiracies here.
No,
I don't mean that, just the timeline,
I mean, you're well, you brought this up a while back.
Yeah.
Something, didn't you, about the magic bullet and all that stuff?
Oh, yeah, when we were talking about the Warren report and stuff, yeah.
I was reading...
the magical bullet.
There was something that popped up, and it pops up once in a while. Who was this guy... he was a spook. Mm-hmm. And supposedly, this is a few years ago, they wrote this book. His kid wrote a book about his deathbed confession.
E. Howard Hunt.
Well, yeah, E. Howard Hunt.
His son is St. John Hunt.
Was that the book? Was
it
actually
Deathbed
E. Howard?
Deathbed Confessions. As he's a.
Was that the book? It was actually. I thought it was a different guy, but.
No, the one I remember is E. Howard Hunt. Evidently, he was on his deathbed there, and he calls his kid and says, "Hey, kid, show up. I need to talk to you."
Yeah.
And it's almost like absolution, right? Your final rites,
Well, that's the way to do it.
The priest is putting anointing the holy oils, like, "Hey, kid, I remember back in '62." And
yeah.
But E. Howard Hunt was a spook, and he had his fingers in a lot of different pies back then. The whole Cuba thing.
Early allegations Hunt as one of the 3 tramps. Dallas Morning News.
Yeah.
There's even a picture of Hunt, and of course, as you said, he was a Watergate conspirator. There's just a lot of stuff here, and we weren't appearing before a nationwide audience on December 31st, 1968, 2 years after This Life by Frank Sinatra. God, it doesn't get...
This Life.
This is like the ground zero of Mad Men right now, right?
Right.
Carson in a plaid jacket with a cigarette hanging out of his,
Right, except we got to sort of this boiler room setting, right?
Yeah.
Where everything's like, we're just like launching weird things into the air, seeing what sticks.
Yeah.
Conspiracy theory, go for it,
Appearing before a nationwide audience, December 30th, New Year's Eve, 1968, episode of The Tonight Show. Garrison held up a photo of the 3 and suggested they were involved in the assassination.
Jim Garrison, yeah.
Jim Garrison, who was the
former district attorney in
New Orleans?
New Orleans.
I mean, this is all my information comes from that Oliver Stone movie, JFK, right? With Joe Pesci and Tommy Lee Jones and
great casting though, right?
Excellent casting.
Pesci is Danny Ferry.
Yeah.
And then you got John Candy is that one guy that, yo, daddy-o, he's talking. Oh, it's great stuff.
Does that mean he listens to a lot of Roxy music?
Brian Ferry. Brian Ferry.
Oh.
Somebody cue Avalon.
Exactly. Oh, you like Roxy music?
I tolerate Roxy music. There's some stuff that's not bad, Brian Ferry,
Yeah. I like it. I like it. It gives me that 80s buzz.
Yeah. See, in the 80s, though, my huge thing was like arena rock, right? I'm like, dude, I'm like a butt rocker, But no, I loved, 80s, really cool kind of 80s stuff. Spandau Ballet.
Here it is. Oh, yeah.
Big fun. That's right.
Spandau Ballet.
Yeah.
The blokes, the dudes.
The dudes, yes.
In the Spandau Ballet.
Yeah, the bros.
Are star in a fantastic movie that I highly recommend to people. And I've recommended this movie to people.
We need to ding the ding then if you're making it.
Oh, yeah.
You're recommending it.
It got great. Right. It got great reviews.
Okay.
And I saw it based on the reviews that I heard, and I was like, that is a good movie. They're the two. I think they're brothers. Are they the brothers? Spandau Ballet, kind of two dudes.
I think
they play the Krays.
Really?
Now the Krays, are gangsters.
Yeah,
they were real guys.
Yeah,
but not mafia. They were, not hey Brooklyn, that sort of thing. Chicago, London.
Gotcha.
They were notorious gangsters of London during the 60s, during the go-go era and stuff. And there's a great line in the movie where a girl asks one of them, hey, and they were like twin brothers, too.
Yeah.
And they were just extorting, and they were just, they owned London during the 60s. Yeah. And there's a great line where a girl goes, hey, do you know the Beatles? And he goes, they know us.
Yeah.
I pulled that up.
Yeah.
I remember I was like, if you like a gangster movie, you got to check this one out. Krays.
The Krays. Yes. Okay.
Here they are. The Kray twins.
The Krays. Yeah, that's right.
There's an actual picture of them. I'll pull that up right there. This is kind of ugly blokes, if you can take a look here. but they were gangsters. Twin brothers Ronald Ronnie Cray, 1933 to 1995.
Wow.
And Reginald Reggie Cray,
Yeah.
24th of October 33 to October 2000, were
Wow.
English gangsters who were the foremost perpetrators of organized crime in the East End of London during the 1950s and 1960s. That is the crazy.
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
they made a movie
Right.
of that, and it stars the dudes from. Here we go, 1990. They were like still alive. The actual craze.
Wow. I wonder how they felt seeing their life on film.
I don't know.
That their Cockney accent. It didn't go down like that, governor.
Yeah. Here we go. Here's
By crikey.
Here's a. If I can pull it up on
Okay,
that.
there we go.
There's a movie poster.
Right,
there
yeah.
of the
Yeah,
craze.
I remember it, yeah.
And those are the two dudes from the band.
I have not seen it, though. It's one of those movies where, that sounds cool,
That's why I bring it up.
Yeah.
Because if there's anything I can do with this program to help.
Yes.
To help.
Yes.
It's not about me. It's to help.
No. Help me help you.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Well,
it's a public service.
395.
That's right. 5040. Once again, 503-395-5040. Folks, it is a Mimosa Monday, right? We had Mother's Day. Everyone's just like kind of, wow, dude, I ate too much, It's Mother's Day. I, gave too many flowers, and now I'm kind of in the doldrums. No, wake up. It's a Monday. You can hang with us, man. And you can call us 503-395-5040. And we are, I always bring out like really weird stuff, I'll like make connections like anyone hasn't seen that before, right?
You mean like me bringing up the craze?
Right, yeah. Yeah, and so
Spandau Ballet.
My better half, she's always like, where do you get this stuff, right? And I was like, I look at her and I said, listen, I am the vault of useless information. Anything you need, anything I need to know, like, I don't know, maybe algebra, forget about it. That was long past in high school. But hey, if you want some arcane references to like some 60s independent film, hey, I'm your man, dude. Mm-hmm. I'm there. We're just trying to help you.
Those guys, the Spandau Ballet guys, the brothers. They are brothers who played the craze in this movie. Like two musician dudes who are like, hey, why don't we cast you guys as the craze? Okay, sure. That's the Kemp brothers.
Gotcha.
Gary and Martin Kemp.
There you go.
Founders of Spandau Ballet and stars. I don't know what they're doing right now.
No,
I'm not keeping up with the Kemps.
Hey,
but
I'm sure whatever they're doing is just fabulous.
Yeah, there's like a picture on Wikipedia of them playing guitar and doing their thing.
Nice.
That was you couldn't in the 80s at some point you couldn't walk in the vicinity of a radio without that song playing.
Yeah. I know
video.
this much is true.
I know this much is true.
And it's true. True. Anyway, but
I gotta stop laughing at my own jokes.
Well, no. Why not? Hey, listen, it's
but I get
levity.
to do that because I'm trying to be helpful.
You are. You're helping people. You
trying
are doing
to tell you about the craze. You can go out. I don't know if it's on Netflix. It's been on Netflix. It's been off of Netflix. Amazon. If you can get it somewhere.
Right.
Hopefully it's not out of print. I don't think I have a copy either. Well, I might, but it's a real good one, and I haven't seen it in many years.
Yeah, no, I can't remember if I've ever seen. I don't think I've ever seen it.
It is a mafia gangster movie, but set in the 60s with the music in England, and it's English.
Yeah,
so it just twists everything for you, because when you go watch a movie like this, right? You expect,
Curmudgeon's trivia.
So
what's Jason going to be watching tonight? The Craze. Because think about it.
I was going to say Rogue One.
And Doc, right? Doc is here. He's giving you presents, right?
And
what he's
helping.
doing, he is setting these little presents. He's helping. He's helping.
That's my arm.
That's right.
Leave it alone.
He's helping. So what he does, though, is Doc, he takes these precious jewels of knowledge, right? He wraps them up in a tiny bow, in a shiny bow, and he sets it down there for you, okay? He sets it down, but you get to open the present, all right? He just doesn't say everything for you. You get to open the present. You get to discover a whole new magical. I sound like a Disney opening, don't I?
No, that's okay.
It's a small world.
It's all good.
Right.
I don't think I've heard anybody say anything that good about me since 5, maybe.
5,
and
wow.
I put on my big boy pants and got ready for kindergarten. You're very good. You're so good. Yeah,
Aren't you a good boy?
So,
Yeah.
Deathbed Convention. See, I'm helping so hard. I don't have the words. Deathbed.
Confession.
Deathbed
Yes.
Confession.
Yes.
It is early for us, by the way, of involvement in Kennedy assassination. This is back to E. Howard Hunt, because we got to do this.
Yeah.
Reading from the Wikipedia.
It's 360, folks. 360.
After Hunt's death, St. John Hunt, that's his son's name, and David Hunt, other son, son B, stated that their father, not to be confused by St. John Warts Hunt,
or St. John's the college there back east. Not to be
St.
confused.
John's, go Aggies or whatever. I don't know. It's not Aggies. I don't know.
St. John, I think they're the Red Storm,
You would
aren't
know.
they?
The Red Storm.
Yeah, because they were
Red
like
Storm Hunt.
Yeah.
Hello, we're making
Red
fun
Storm
of these.
Hunt. He's son number C.
We're making fun of these blokes.
Blokes, these mates.
Everyone's a bloke today.
Right. Everyone's a bloke.
You're a bloke.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a bloke.
Let's go hoist a pint.
Got some blokes.
Got some bloke.
I don't even know what that is. We'll have to look that up. So,
what's that?
Where you get that name, bloke?
I don't know.
I just remember back in the old days, English guys would call people
Hey,
bloke.
blokes. Yeah, you listen to the old thing of like the Rolling Stones and Jagger's talking. He's like, hey, me and the blokes down there in the pub, hoisting a pint.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, Mick.
Blokes. All right.
Such a funny word, but Mick, you make it sound so cool. So
They got some fags.
yep, you got to light a fag.
Yeah.
Right? It's a cigarette.
And the whole situation's bollocks.
It is bollocks, but my favorite one is actually Irish.
Oh,
when people call each other bloody tossers. What's a bloody tosser? What is a bloody tosser? Right.
That does not sound good for the morning.
No,
Jason.
it doesn't. Bloody tossers, right?
We'll be looking that up right after I finish my report on the Deathbed Convention.
See, 360. 360.
We do have to look that up, though.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. So he recorded several claims about himself on his deathbed and others being involved in a conspiracy to assassinate President John F. Kennedy. Notes and audio recordings were made in April 5th, 2007 issue of Rolling Stone. The blokes at Rolling Stone. St. John Hunt detailed a number of individuals purported to be implicated by his father, including... Oliver Stone, are you listening?
Yeah.
Lyndon B. Johnson, vice president who became the president. Cord Meyer, David Phillips, Frank Sturgis, David Morales, Antonio. I don't know who these guys all are. Antonio Vacina, William Harvey, and an assassin he termed the French gunman Grassy Knoll.
Yes.
The Frenchman. That's where, I heard about the Frenchman.
He was the 60s version. I mean, he was like Mr. X, right?
Yeah.
No one knew what he looked like. No one knew what he sounded like. You contacted him through some blind box back in the day, and he did a lot of what they call wet work.
Well, I think, Jason, one thing you're wrong there.
Okay, let's go for it.
We knew what he sounded like.
Yeah?
Because he sounded like this.
Silly me!
Sacre bleu!
Right?
I forgot the bullets.
Everyone, talk about stereotyping now. Every Frenchman now is Pepe Le Pew, Sacre bleu! Mon Dieu!
Now, I'm imagining a film that kind of died in the the plan. Hollywood. They lots of things. The scripts, they're developing, and they throw it away.
Yep.
One famous one, which I really wish they do, is a John Callahan movie.
Okay.
But anyway, we can talk about that later. But and I imagine that Hollywood had this script, and it was like it's going to be the French. Gunman, Grassy Knoll.
You see it through his eyes, right?
Figure.
Yeah.
And who do we have lined up for this? It's not Luke Beeson. It's not these. It's a yes.
Oh, I got it. I know who we get. I know
Inspector Clouseau.
Well, yeah. But if it's now, it's Gerard Depardieu. Right? He shows up. He just got smoke hanging out of his mouth. Monsieur. Don't tell me my word.
We throw shade on the French.
Shade on the French. First, we steal your bread, and then we steal your dressing.
Get down! did you bring the bullets? I tried to assassinate the president here.
No, that's Germany now. You moved straight into Teutonic stuff.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to do my best Inspector Clouseau.
How will we?
Not now, Kato.
Right.
Jenkins.
Jenkins.
Code name Jenkins.
Code name Jenkins. Ooh.
I am Jacques Jenkins.
Jacques Jenkins.
And what will you be doing? And what will you be doing here in Dallas, Texas, sir? I'll be assassinating the president.
No. He's got to say something really vague. Oh, just sightseeing.
Doing a little hunting.
Do you know the way to Daly Plaza?
Oh, God.
Is it over there? Where's this Texas Book Depository you speak of?
This is too soon, isn't it? It's too soon.
It's too soon.
We're making fun of the Kennedy assassination.
It's too soon. It's 1962.
That happened before I was born.
Or 63. Sorry, 63. Cuba was 62, and yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you think the Cuba Bay of Pigs and the Kennedy assassination?
Yeah.
Any link there?
Maybe. I think it may be played.
Nothing to see here.
Sweep that under the rug right there.
So anyway, these guys, the French gunmen on the grassy knoll. I've got my bullets and a glass of Chardonnay.
Chardonnay.
Imagine a guy in the painter.
He's got the beret.
In the striped shirt. Maybe a little Marcel.
Get some accordion going in the background, and he's like, let me sit my Chardonnay on the fence.
And a monkey on the court.
No
one will suspect me. I'm the Frenchman. I'm undercover.
This is my monkey, Pierre.
Oh,
Pierre, hand me bullet. Thank you.
I'm starting to do show titles.
Yeah.
This one will be called The Kennedy Assassination.
Right.
Lord.
Or just The Knoll.
Last Fridays, I don't have time to do, so I just do a quick show title.
Yeah.
Fridays was When the Lightning Strikes.
Oh, yeah, that's perfect.
There you go. Yeah. So he's undercover. Is
he undercover?
Would you like some cheese? Cheese. Oh, here comes the president. Hold this.
Yes. Would you please hold my cheese? Here comes your president.
French Casino, who many presume. There's a name here.
Yeah.
Lucien Sarté.
Yes.
The two sons allege that their father cut the information from his memoirs to avoid possible perjury charges. According to Hunt's widow and other children, the two sons took advantage of Hunt's loss of lucidity by coaching and exploiting him for financial gain. The Los Angeles Times said they examined the materials offered by the sons to support the story and found them to be inconclusive.
Yeah.
Who's this bloke, Lucien Sarté?
He was a famous hitman. He was the Mr. X.
Wait, okay. This
was all uncovered later, though. When in '63, when this was going down, if he was involved, let me just throw that out there.
Yeah.
They didn't know a whole lot about him. It's only through the years afterwards where they figured, his name was Lucien Sarté. Back then, he was just the French connection.
I was just going to say, because I pulled up the Wikipedia, and it's Lucien, and it says, 1931 to 1972, when he died, was a French drug trafficker. So I'm like, this is the guy. This is the French connection from the movie. This is the guy that Popeye Doyle is chasing in New York, right? We think.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, it's possible.
Isn't it?
Well, didn't he a bunch of stuff out of Marseille? And he was coming into the country, and he was trying to Popeye Doyle. Next thing you know, he's undercover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I need to watch those again.
Oh man, that movie. It's like these old edgy movies, especially from the 70s.
Yeah.
One thing that kind of hits you right in the face when you watch them in 2017. Mm-hmm. Great movies. They're great movies. I like what I like out of my 70s movies like this, like The French Connection.
Yeah.
Is this was a time when New York was really kind of
dirty, right?
And dilapidated,
right?
And it's walking the streets. There's a lot of crime in the streets, and that's really depicted in these movies. And I kind of like that.
Right.
I like that because where do you want to see cops and detectives going busting people and stuff in the dirty back streets, right?
Back streets in the seedy underbelly.
Yeah, it's very noir. Kind of film noir.
Right.
And so So I remember rewatching The French Connection a while back, and there's always, all these movies. There's always like these little bits of like kind of racist, kind of sexist, you know, and you're like, ooh, wow, 27. That wouldn't fly in 2017.
But as what did we name the French guy again?
He was Lucien.
No, I mean our French guy, the guy that just shows up and he's, got a beret on and
Jenkins.
stuff. Oh, Jenkins.
Jacques Jenkins.
Jacques Jenkins. You may call me JJ.
I am Jacques Jenkins.
Jacques. The reason why my name is Jenkins is my father was from Jersey.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So we'll do some more research on that for you. No,
that whole E. Howard Hunt thing is so provocative because you want to say, well, no, obviously he's making it, but at this point, if he's on his deathbed, what does he got to lose, right? he's going out anyway. He's going to the big sleep, so it's not like someone's gonna revenge. Mm-hmm. But and the other thing that makes you stop and think that is maybe all of it isn't total crap is because the guy was legitimately, he was a player back then.
Well, it was CIA, and he was involved in the Bay of Pig. The Castro. This is that thing where it kind of comes out of the don't piss off the deep state,
right? Yeah, because you never know.
Yeah.
Because even if they weren't, even if the guy didn't have anything to do with JFK, he had his hands dirty in all sorts of...
Hunt's first assignment for the White House, this would be the Nixon White House, was a covert operation to break into the Los Angeles office of Daniel Ellsberg's psychiatrist Louis J. Fielding in July 1971. Yeah. So, he was... there was an interesting thing. I was trying to pull it up here about... Howard Hunt, his, and they don't have, I don't see it in the Wikipedia, but he's listed with having had two spouses, and I believe his first one there was some implication as Watergate was going on, and his first wife, I think she had a bag of money or something like that, and then there was a big one of these big famous airliner crashes. She was on it, if I recall. Does that sound about right? I think that was.
It sounds maybe something a little familiar, but I think it's. I'm gonna have to go home and dig into it.
Yeah,
but there was something going on. I don't know if it was him or was it.
Here it is, right here. I got it. I knew it because I remember. This is one of those things you can go down a rabbit hole, and honestly, it's worth it. Just like that E. Howard Hunt guy in Wikipedia and articles and stuff, and you're like, wow, look at this guy.
Yeah,
this is 10 novels right here.
Yeah,
out of one life,
Right, all those fiction writers write about all those guys, the shady Twilight world of maybe CIA, maybe not the Christians in action, and the next, this is the guy. He was CIA,
deep state doing.
He was hip deep.
His job was that. It's like you could, you'd be hard pressed to write a 3-page story of my life. Really, but Hunt, man, it's like literally.
Mine's maybe a 30-second spot.
Yeah,
that's about it.
Hunt's wife, Dorothy, was killed in the December 8th, 1972 plane crash of United Airlines Flight 553 in Chicago. Yeah. Congress, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and the National Transportation Safety Board investigated the crash, as they do, and found it to be an accident caused by crew error. Over $10,000 in cash was found in Dorothy Hunt's handbag in the wreckage.
Yeah. And, she's going on a little shopping trip. I'll just take $10,000 with me.
That was 72. That was in the heart. That's like Watergate and the conspiracy.
That's when that stuff is going on right then, 72. Think of the ways of, we think of the scandals now, and because the news cycle is so sped up, it's literally 30 minutes later and you're on CNN. But back, the Watergate, I believe the break-ins were in 72. And it wasn't until 73 the thing started, and then by 74, that's when Nixon resigned. So all this stuff took like 2 years to really.
I remember when I was a little tyke, and I remember on television, was the thing back then. It's like 3 stations on the TV.
Yeah,
and you're lucky if the TV is a color television.
Right.
Maybe you had a color television, right? That was like bringing the internet to your cable. It was like, oh my gosh, it's in color.
Oh yeah, if you're 16, you have a color.
Early 70s. I mean,
early 70s.
Well, they came out. Yeah. They came out in the color television had been around, but it was like anything. It was like the first people who had color television were very rich people. The broadcasters were broadcasting in color well before people had the television.
Right.
This is a lot like the internet and cable and all that. The capabilities there, but it's when do people have that in their hands that the masses can
Right, technology a lot has to wait, especially if it's consumer, it has to wait until the cost comes down.
Almost 10 years ago, the iPhone. Look how that changed everything. Look what we're doing now. When I started putting things on the net, video and audio, people were like, "What? Why video? Why on your laptop? I don't get it. I don't get it." And it's like, well, you will get it. You will get it someday.
That is the number one question people have always said that when we started this, right? Mm-hmm. They came and said, "Man, that looks great." And I was like, yeah, why is that? Well, because, you guys get the banner at the bottom. And I say, yeah, the lower third. And he goes, but it's just so clear. And I said, well, you know why? Is because you're so used to when you see things on Facebook and or Periscope, it's just somebody on their phone or somebody on their laptop. And so it's some dude sitting there in a darkened room.
Yeah.
And it keeps coming in and out, or just really foggy because it's inferior, stuff. I said the stuff that they, the stuff that Doc has got going on. It's I mean, you would see this stuff on TV, right? So and that's why people are so, wow, that's really cool. It's like, well, this is what the technology, and this is how you can adapt it to make it look and do your own thing.
It's all now broadcast technology. It wasn't before, but there's tons of software and like the gamers Twitch and just a lot of sophistication out there now, and it was just all coming up, and it's pretty fun. But when back in the 70s, when the Watergate thing was happening,
3 channels,
and back then, during the day, what was it? It was all soap operas, maybe a talk show,
maybe
thrown in
72,
there in the afternoon.
Maybe
Mike Douglas, Dinah Shore. Oh yeah, I know.
Dinah was a biscuit. Yeah, I tell you. Sorry.
She was what?
She was a biscuit, man.
A biscuit?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
She was very attractive. She was a biscuit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she dated Burt Reynolds, I guess.
Well,
So they say. Eligible single lady. Older single lady. So during this time period, when it got into Watergate, they had these live congressional hearings, and that's what was on television. Like soap operas didn't even film at that point, and people who watched these popular soap operas would get typically it would be the ladies, but a lot of men did too.
Sure.
And they'd get cranky because it's like it would be all like
Marvin, they're interrupted by what's going to happen to Dr. Kelly?
This
Get it
is
back
a
on.
special CBS News report from the Watergate hearings, and now.
Right, and the cool thing about that, back in the day, I watched this thing where they had the opening of the this is NBC, and it was just there was no imagination anyway. It was just like Watergate.
Yeah,
Senate hearing, and that's it. It's like, wow.
Well, I mean, the technology we have in this room to broadcast on the internet,
interwebs.
Man, it's a Monday. We call this Doc's Mouth Monday.
Oh,
doesn't work.
Oh.
What we have here is so much more sophisticated and powerful than what they had, back then, comparatively. I mean,
sure.
The computer that landed on the moon, the navigation computer, was less powerful than your first calculator that you got back when calculators came out.
Right.
Let alone this. This is your NASA supercomputer that you're carrying around right now.
Right. Yeah.
Go back in time. Hey, Buzz, here's my Android. You want to plug those numbers in?
Thanks, Neil. Let me take a look at that.
So this conspiracy thing, and his wife dies in this plane crash, and you wonder.
Yeah.
All these things, and so there's two things about conspiracies.
Yeah.
There are conspiracies, and I think people like conspiracies because it's a story. We like good stories,
and also it's a shrouded mystery, right? It's
until
one of those
it's revealed.
Exactly, yeah.
And we like that.
We love that. Americans love a good mystery, man. They love intrigue.
Some of the most popular podcasts that came out, serials. We're gonna peel the onion, right?
Yeah.
But then there's also scientists and psychologists who suggest one thing that our brains are geared toward is to recognize patterns. This is how our intelligence works. You go out, what is that thing? Let's piece it together. Well, I've seen that before, and this is how reason works in your brain.
How people put puzzles together.
And this is putting the puzzle together, how this works. This is part of the crux of how conspiracy theories work.
Yeah.
So you have a situation where, I'm not saying this, but you have situations where people, for example, find conspiracies in everything.
Yeah.
Because they piece together, this A, B, C, puzzle, together, conspiracy.
Right.
And that's always, you have two sides of the argument. And even in the Kennedy, I have a good friend.
Okay.
And I actually like Kennedy assassination, because it was hot when I was growing up,
Sure.
So I was always really interested in the books and Oswald was over here eating lunch with this guy. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Jacques Jenkins.
Would you please pass the salt?
Das Vidanya. The really interesting things and where Oswald's been and the Soviet embassy in Mexico and all these crazy things, right? And you're like, oh wow, that is kind of odd. The Bay of Pigs and Kennedy and his strife with the CIA.
Yeah.
Especially over Cuba.
Yep.
And then we have mobster ties.
Yeah.
Bring it back to Frank Sinatra. Not saying Frank had mobster ties.
I'm trying to think. That's a Monday, so my brain is slowly rebooting. The mob guy in New Orleans. Eventually, I can't remember his name right now, but eventually he got deported.
Yeah.
And I gotta think. I'll work on that when we're talking.
But anyway, so it does smell.
Yes.
The whole JFK thing smells a bit.
Right.
Even if you're not into it. But I have a friend who absolutely is like, here's the newspapers, here's the Warren Commission report. No. And we would argue about this.
Yeah.
And all I'd say is like, look, I don't think Oliver Stone necessarily told the story. It was an entertaining movie.
Yeah.
But I'm saying there might be some interesting things here as we research it. And he's like, no, you're a conspiracy theorist. And I was like, dude, I'm just have an open mind here.
Right. I do love me a good conspiracy, but there are some. See, that's what makes a good conspiracy, is because there are so many things that are inconclusive. Because another thing that Americans love is we want answers. We want to get to the bottom of stuff, and when we don't, it's intriguing, and that we love a good mystery. But a couple of things that always about the JFK thing is like kind of sat kind of askew with me was. The whole fact of when they slow down the Zapruder film. It clearly, I know, as grisly as that is, but to me, it looks clearly like it's a front shot. I know the difference between entrance and exit.
Yeah.
And
that's what they say.
And then the amount of shots fired, because and
then the magic bullet.
Right, yeah. I'd never seen a bullet that was. But
there were. I know a few years back, especially when my friend was debating this with me. This was probably several years ago now.
Yeah.
NBC or one of them did like a big deep dive on it, and they had like the computer recreation and all that, and the one guy's like, no, this bullet can go here and then ricochet and then hit Governor Conley, and oh my gosh, it was just so I think here's the other thing, and this is anti-conspiracy.
Okay.
Life is messy. People are basically mess ups, or you can use the F word.
I would like to say complicated.
Yeah, basically they're F ups.
Yeah,
okay? People generally are. Even the more power, the more you can F up. Okay?
Right, yeah.
And one of the things against conspiracy is to have such an elaborate, secret web that works well, like a well-oiled machine, is very unlikely in the human condition.
No, and see, that's another thing that's on the other side of the coin is one of the things I always thought, man, if it was such a deep conspiracy, right, and they had all these like different little moving parts, everyone talks.
Right.
Everyone. I mean, just look at what's coming out of the White House right now. All these anonymous,
leaks.
The last Washington Post
leaks.
Trump thing was like 30 sources.
Yeah.
So I mean, I always thought, well, maybe, I mean, if it was a real tight circle and it was like a conspiracy of like 3 guys.
Exactly.
Then maybe, but the whole idiom, you can keep the secret if 2 people know and one guy's dead. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean, yeah.
Well, but the larger the participants in the conspiracy, the more problems you have with a secret conspiracy.
Exactly, yeah.
Like you said, if it's a few guys, I believe, and I'm pulling this out of my head, those dead necrotic brain cells back there. So you can always fact check me. We will always take. We had some fact checking, I think, earlier.
I love the real time fact checking.
Yeah. But if I recall, in the early days of the Bolshevik hand of the Russian Revolution, one of the things that that these guys did is they did there's probably a name for it. It's a triad. 3 people. So no one person knows more than 3 people.
And that's the whole philosophy behind the cell.
Yes.
No one knows what each other's doing, so no one can tell.
And that's the reason. So one guy knows a guy over here, and a guy over here, and then and so the cell breaks out, but no one person knows more than 3.
And that is sometimes how intelligence works.
Yeah.
You have one guys are compartmentalized. They have no idea what's going on, what team number 1's doing. Team number 2 is doing something else that may look on the surface to have nothing to do with number 1. And then it's interesting how that all breaks down, though, the compartmentalization and all that.
But isn't there a mastermind? And how does that work?
I'm sure
there's got to be a mastermind. Puppeteered. We are going to overthrow the Russian government. We are going to assassinate.
Yeah,
that's called Jacques Jenkins.
Well, it depends. It depends where it originates. I mean, if it originates on the American side, it was probably some CIA guys and some other ones that just did not like the.
But the whole point is, I think like the CIA, the NSA. These are large organizations.
Yeah, someone's going to talk, right?
I mean, it's like so.
But if you had like shadowy, and see, this is where it comes up. A lot of these guys are former. All right, so you got this loose cabal of people that used to be in the game, and if you have 1 or 2 people, you could just set those guys in motion. Because those guys are out of the loop, which means they're their own little cell themselves, and they ain't gonna know what. And it's interesting though. I mean, there's a lot of really cool books on the subject. If let me throw one out there. I think I've got if I remember the name of it, it's called. It's a really weird one. It's called Miss Mary's Monkey. And it sounds really weird, right? But this lady was
Miss Mary's Monkey.
Yeah, she was a.
That doesn't even sound right, Jason.
No. She was. Yeah, she was a scientist.
Google that. Please turn on your parental filters.
Right. It's Cinemax. What do you mean?
Oh.
No, but she was like a scientist back then, kind of, and back in the early '60s, she was down in New Orleans, and she knew people like Danny Ferry and the other ones, and so by proxy, she was kind of at the epicenter of what was going on. And I believe Mary, I can't remember last time, I'm going to have to Google it here, she died under kind of really mysterious circumstances, like when people were like tying up loose ends,
Well, that's always a thing. I mean, and then I go back to there was that movie, which I believe was called Conspiracy Theory.
Yeah, Mel Gibson,
Mel Gibson
right?
movie.
Yeah.
Jean-Luc Picard was in it.
Yes.
Patrick Stewart.
Was his name Jacques Jenkins?
No, he was. He was a baddie.
Yeah.
Patrick Stewart, great actor. We love Patrick Stewart. I mean, he was on the Enterprise, and Wolf Factor 1, Mr. Wolf. But, he's a great actor. He was the one who kept going, telling the character, do you want some gravy? Do you want some gravy? Which was like drugs. He was pumping. I shouldn't give it away.
Here it is.
Give it away.
It is. It's Miss Mary's Monkey.
Miss Mary's Monkey.
The book was written about it. Dr. Mary's Monkey, how the unsolved murder of a doctor, a secret laboratory in New Orleans, and cancer-causing monkey viruses are linked to Lee Harvey assassination and emerging global epidemics.
Oh.
Yeah, because you remember Danny Ferry, right after that, got sick with cancer and died, and a lot of people thought that he got injected with stuff to give him cancer.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I mean...
Jack Ruby.
Yeah.
Went to prison, gets cancer.
Yeah.
But, people get cancer all the time, so it's not like, it's not unplausible that it could have been just natural happenstance, right?
That's a whole thing. You're like mysterious cancer. I mean, we have that right now. We have that, one of the things that people are, those who don't appreciate the work of the president of Russia, because you can... it's some like low dose of, it's like nuclear. It's like it's not plutonium, but just a tiny little dose, and you can just, if you just get there. Okay, I have read some of these substances, and there's some nasty stuff out there. There's some nasty stuff that if you want to, say you're a member of a spy organization or something like that, and you need to take care of someone that you don't like, you just need to go there and touch him with this. We had Kim Jong-un's brother.
Yes. Yeah.
Right there in front of us. Yeah,
and everyone's already calling shenanigans.
Oh no! It was like the two ladies who come up and accost him and touch him, and then he's dead.
Yeah.
I mean, it's spooky out there. But like you say, you got these guys who died of cancer, like in the JFK.
Yeah.
So do we have a situation like that, or everyone's smoking?
Exactly.
They're not out there in their
right.
Nike track outfit, they're eating the red meat. They're smoking. they're drinking their 6 martinis.
Right.
know?
Oh, let's go back a little bit. 180. Remember, I couldn't remember the New Orleans mob boss.
Yeah, who was that?
Carlos Marcello.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Carlos Marcello.
He was hip deep.
What family was he from?
I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to recheck that. But let me get back
to conspiracy theories, mafia, and where Jason and I just wax poetic on stuff that we like.
Right. Conspiracy 101. Today's show,
we'll have a secret gangster. We'll put him in the corner and cut the lights.
Yeah, we'll give him the voice box. Right? He's like, so we'll call you Bob. Bob, what happened? I remember back in 1992, we were on the grassy knoll. I turned to Lucien. Oops, sorry. And I turned to him and said, "Hey, monkey, hand me a bullet." Anyway.
See, if we had no integrity whatsoever, we could just do that and get like 1 million likes. And people would be like, we'd be Alex Jones of Portland, right? It's it'd be like, yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Bring it on,
Yeah, Portland's... Now,
have you guys had like the conspiracy theorist folks on the radio?
We have.
You've had everybody, so I'm curious.
Yeah. Ole Damagard, he called in, and I believe he was in Sweden. And we actually, the time difference.
Location.
No, it was great because when we were on the air, it was like in the morning his time, so it was like, oh yeah, sure, I'll come on. And he calls it conspiracy fact.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And we went from everywhere, from JFK to, Marilyn Monroe, just all, or Area 51, any conspiracy that you can think of. He was a.
This is actually a good time, and I was reminded looking at my calendar.
Mm-hmm.
This weekend, the early stuff starts on Thursday.
Okay.
Then there's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the whole dang weekend. McMinnville, Oregon.
Yes.
The world famous UFO festival McMinnville, Oregon.
I missed the boat on that. We should have gone out there and done a little how do you do.
If you can, at least if you can make the drive out there, and the drive is always awful, right? Pacific Highway, but allow time. But the parade, the parade is a lot of fun, and it's like families and little kids dressed up as aliens, and little. I think I said this before. We talked about this. One of them. One of the groups that came by, and it's just like a community parade. I mean, they got bands and, but I think you can dress up and get in the parade.
Yeah, you can do the cosplay stuff. Yeah. It is probably the one place during that festival where you can walk around with a tinfoil hat and not be out of place. And I have this on my Instagram. I literally went into the beer garden and talked to a guy and his wife. They were older, wearing tinfoil hats, and I was just like, "This is." And they took, "Can I take your picture? I gotta put because this is so perfect." Right.
It's like, we're the tinfoil hat couple, Right. And then we talked, and their kids showed up. They were like, "Oh, what's Grandpa gonna say?" And then I asked him if he'd seen a UFO or aliens, and he said no. And I was like, "Okay, that's reasonable." And the kids just started getting nervous.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, he seems like a reasonable old man. I think he was a farmer. They had some land out there.
Okay.
And then I said, well, have you ever seen anything weird? Like lights and stuff? A lot of people see that. And he goes, well, yeah, I did. And the kids are just like, shut Grandpa up. And it's like, I saw Bigfoot once. It was just the classic.
Oh, Bigfoot.
It was just the classic.
I love Bigfoot stories. I am a sucker for Bigfoot stories.
And at that point, they're adult kids, and he's got the grandkids there, and they're just like, oh.
Right. Why is Grandpa doing
this guy's from Portland's going to think Grandpa's a crackpot. But that's what I was there. I was there to hang. I mean, we weren't filming or anything, but I was just there to have fun
in the atmosphere,
and talk
right?
to people.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you don't... Look, when in Rome...
Exactly, right. When in McMinnville.
Yeah, when in McMinnville during the UFO festival.
Yeah.
You don't walk around, debunking everyone. You're like, let me hear your story.
You're the skeptic, huh?
Yeah.
Like, no, I love that stuff.
I mean, you can be a skeptic, but you're there. You want to hear the stories. You want to... What did you see?
Yeah.
What did they do?
I love it, yeah.
I still want to, just have one guy who goes, we kind of, they did the abduction thing. I kind of floated up.
Yeah.
I was out in the room. I was on the table. A lot of scary instruments. I think they were going to probe me and stuff. And the dude walks in and goes, hey, do you know where we can get a sandwich around here?
That's perfect. That's America right there, Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You're going from probing to sandwiches in 0.5 seconds. That's beautiful.
Well, no. I mean, it would be like, why do aliens have such an obsession with uncomfortable sex versus they're just coming down and they're looking for a good hoagie? It's like we were in the neighborhood. You humans do some crazy stuff with sandwiches. We don't get those at
Yeah, we don't get those out in
Nebulon
5
or what I can't even speak today, but LV426. But Alpha Centauri.
Yes.
I mean that's my theory. My theory is if extraterrestrials are visiting us, the dirty little secret is they're not here to probe. They're not here to steal your glandular material or whatever the heck they're doing. They're just here to, it's like, hey, when we were watching, the signal for the Seinfeld episodes went out. We were wondering if do you know where we can get some used DVDs of Seinfeld?
Right.
Like season 6. We were, you know what I mean?
But they're almost like, I would think that the aliens would also be somewhat cynical, right? They show up, oh my God, you're an alien. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Why are you here? He just turns to you real nonchalantly and says, this planet kind of sucks. Everyone's like going to war and stuff, but you got the best deli.
Yeah,
exactly. I want to go down and get a corned beef sandwich. You can't get that in the Pleiades. I want to come here and get some deli.
Yeah, I get that Empire sandwich down there at Kornblatt's.
Right, the
Extra
Carnegie.
kraut,
We're gonna go down to the Carnegie deli. Come on down with me.
Well, because look, that's artisan. That's small batch.
Right.
That's what they call it now.
Right, you're not getting that.
We used to call it artisan. Now it's small batch.
Right, you're not getting that in the Pleiades.
No,
They're just not doing that.
You can't carry that on your light speed flying saucer.
No. No. I mean,
First,
you could.
it spoils.
Because if you got technology
the way time
for...
works,
yeah.
Einstein, look it up.
Right, yeah.
No, it doesn't. I don't know.
Einstein, look it up.
Guys, like, it's Roy and Bob, and the two extraterrestrials, and it's like, they're shooting through space at and light speed, because that's what you got to do to travel from planet to planet. And it's like, I forgot my lunch back there. And it's like, Roy, your lunch is already decomposed and is in the ground now.
Right. Turn around. We got to go hit a Sonics.
Yeah, right. Then they go to Earth.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Earth's right here. And we can get that Empire sandwich. I hear that's pretty good.
Right. Or maybe Earth, and this is how we would hurt our egos, because we're humans and all. Yeah, we would hurt our egos, but we're just like a when the trucker's on the road and he stops at those little places and gets coffee and stuff. I mean, it's a Monday, so
honestly.
It's escaping. But
I think we're onto it.
Yeah, we're one of those,
Yeah, there's nothing here. It's like, verge of nuclear war? Yeah, we've seen that. It's civilization. Yeah. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Hope you guys survive, because you got a hell of a good truck stop down here. They got the best
we're just like
scramble.
We're like a Jubit's truck stop for aliens, Hey, you're an alien. Wow. Tell us the secrets of the universe. Here, take some trinkets and beads. Go on your own way. I'm busy. I'm trying to get.
Well, and we know.
Yeah.
I mean, the extraterrestrials are visiting us right there. Advanced civilization.
Yeah.
They have advanced. I mean, maybe once in a while, these people, like at the UFO, you'll see the flying saucer, you'll see the lights, but basically they're hidden, right? And then when they come down and they go to people, like if they go to go get the Grand Slam breakfast, right. Hungry, right?
The Rudy Tooty Fresh and Fruity from IHOP.
They're wearing their skin suit, man.
Yeah, they are. Right. They're not going to go looking like lizard guys. It's going to scare the heck out of people.
Damn skin suit, right?
Like, wow.
Bob and Martha sitting there with the Grand Slam. They're from Alpha Reticuli. Trust me.
Right. And some aliens, I mean, they're aliens because their standard uniform is a look like of Maury Schaefer.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, Maury, I thought you died back in '86. What's going on? Oh, no. I'm not Maury. I'm Cliff. Oh, okay.
And
yeah,
because I'm going to say waitress because it's just classic diner, flow, with the
What can I get you, sweetheart?
Not to be misogynistic, but the classic American diner with flow, with the hat.
She's got the pad open. She's ready to go.
Not the pad.
Maybe she has
an actual pencil.
She got a pencil like in her bouffant hairdo and stuff. And she's
bouffant hairdo. Thank you. And isn't it like she's writing it down but yelling it back to the kitchen?
Right.
I've been eating 2 cups of coffee.
Right, yeah, I like the hamburgers. I want 3 hogs and a slog. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they put it up on the little thing and they turn it around, the little circle thing.
Yeah. And a patty melt.
Right.
With a side of chips.
Table 3 wants a Mr. Pim.
No, he doesn't want the wavy ones. He wants the regular. Not
oyster
the barbecue.
Right. And oyster crackers. He wants oyster crackers.
And some tomato soup. We've got this in our head. This is ingrained. But these guys flying through the universe, they're like coming in for some color, man. They're like, oh, man. And so they're there, and that they're extraterrestrials because they're asking Flo in between the order, like, hey, Flo, how do you guys... Do you know like a used DVD shop? We're missing season 7 of Seinfeld. We're kind of,
Right. Either that or they're just watching us. We are like...
I just did the Seinfeld theme.
Right. Yeah, to aliens, we are the Sunday monster movie, just our planet, right? I mean, we
are the Mystery Science Theater of the universe.
Yes. Right, because I got a theory about this, and my theory is once you get to be like a Type 1, Type 2, Type 3 civilization, and you've learned to harness, the universe, and you're able to travel interconstellar.
Yes.
I mean, chances are you're boring. Right, you're just some guy like Spock now, and you're sitting there. I'm not saying Spock was totally boring,
Well,
but he was very stoic, logical in something, and we're all kinds of messed up down here on Earth. So like, man, I don't know what's on TV tonight. I don't know. Let's check out what's on Planet E. Check out on the channel Planet E. They turn it into us.
I think you're entirely onto it. Because I believe when you harness the power of the atom,
yes,
and then next you harness the power of gravity,
right,
and then harness the power of the speed of light.
Yes.
What else are you gonna do? You're just hey, you want to go get in the spaceship and travel amongst planets at the speed of light? Right. Yeah, sure. Hey, you want to go? There's a black hole over here. You want to mess with it? Mm-hmm. Do some gravitational waves? Mm-hmm. I don't feel like hanging in the gravitational waves today.
Come on, kids. We're going to take a trip. I don't want to go to Zeta Reticuli. It's boring.
Exactly.
Where do you want to go? I want to go to Earth. Little Bobby, let's go.
Comedy gold.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to go somewhere where it's like, oh, these guys are funny. Wait till you see this. You got to go one of their diners, though. Man, that best patty melt I've ever had. Yeah. And I don't even have taste buds.
Right.
Because we evolved those out,
we just absorb stuff. We don't, the aliens don't even eat anymore. They just absorb. But they want deli, right? So they're coming to Earth,
the Coneheads from Saturday Night Live,
right?
They're
mass quantities,
like
just shoving everything in their mouth.
They would take this was a Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah, where are you from? France.
Yeah, What's your name?
Jacques Jenkins. See, folks, everything is 360 here.
Always 360. That's but right. I am like, yes, I am totally behind this theory that extraterrestrials that have the speed of light that are traveling are bored out of their minds, and they need entertainment. So where are we going to find Earth?
Yeah, we're going to go to
Earth. These guys are crazy.
Yeah,
they're complete F-ups.
Yep.
And then they make fun of it on the show Seinfeld.
Right.
And they laugh at themselves. Who knew? They'll never get the speed of light or harnessing gravity.
Those Earth guys are talking monkeys, but damn, do they got great entertainment,
Exactly.
And great deli, too.
Exactly. Try the potato salad. It's so good,
Yeah, right. Have you had the slaw?
Yeah.
Try the slaw. It's great.
So, I'm totally down with this. I mean, and there's even precedence in science fiction, because you mentioned Star Trek, you mentioned Spock, and you said, well, I don't find Spock boring, but you're right.
He's stoic.
The Vulcans are stoic and kind of, and that's a whole thing in original Star Trek.
Yeah,
is you got Bones, who's a complete Earth.
Yeah, he's a country doctor. Damn it, Jim.
And so he's always like punching Spock to get a rise out of him, because he's like, you're boring, Vulcans. Make it messy. Go have a drink, Jim. You want a drink? He's always drinking. Actually, that was the one thing.
Bones?
Yeah, when you really go rewatch the show.
Yeah.
Every which episode is it like, and he comes in and Kirk's had a bad day and it's like, Jim, I brought in some Saurian brandy.
Right.
He's always like, he's a functional alcoholic. Bones is a functional alcoholic.
You don't want a functional alcoholic being the doctor on your
physician.
Yeah.
But he is.
Yeah.
He is. And if you ever watch the original pilot, that is not Jim Shatner.
Right, yeah.
I can't remember his name, and I'm sorry.
I
know that actor real well.
And it wasn't even Kirk, right? It was like
it was Christopher Pike. Was actually
yes.
That was the character.
Yes, and
Spock was in it. Majel Barrett, who was Roddenberry's wife, who played Nurse Chapel, was actually number one on the bridge,
right?
And they filmed the pilot. And NBC was like, "Nah, we don't like it," and so then they reworked it, and they ended up recasting with Shatner, and doing some new things. But they have a doctor there, and it's not Bones.
He's an older guy, right? He's kind of an older guy, receding hairline, kind of grayish.
He's actually a guy that I saw on a Mystery Science Theater sci-fi movie who was in one of these 50s sci-fi movies. And it's like, that guy was the original doctor on the Enterprise. I can't remember the actor's name. He's kind of gray-haired guy, older guy.
Yeah.
And sure enough, if you watch the pilot and it's all been restored, you can watch it. It's the menagerie they used later. There's a scene where Christopher Pike is in his cabin. He's had a rough day, and here comes the doctor with the saurian brandy or whatever. Right. Well, you need a drink. It's like, what is it to be a Starfleet doctor and travel all over the universe at the speed of light, warp speed? Right. You've got to be a functional alcoholic.
Oh, probably, because the replicator down in the mess hall, they're making you brandy right there. Oh, cool, brandy.
And then we get Next Generation, which is PC, politically correct, the 80s, right? And we have, Crusher. Nurse. I'm sorry. I'm so very sorry.
Wesley Crusher.
Well, his mom was the doctor.
Yes.
Dr. Crusher.
Dr. Crusher.
And she's a,
Oh, yeah.
And then one season they have a different lady who's even more.
A teetotaler, huh?
Yeah. Hey, there's no drinking or anything. They're like, let's get on this, right?
Right.
But in the old Starfleet, it's like they must have just had a purge. They must have one day go, okay, we've done the psych profiles on all our doctors, on all our Constitution class ships, and they're all a bunch of effing alcoholics.
Well, yeah, because think about it. You can't spend 5 years on 5 years on a mission. You can't spend 5 years and not at some point, like at 3.5 years, become a burnout, right? So you're the doc. You've had a rough day. You got some alcohol. It's gonna go.
Well, as Bones says in the new reboot Star Trek, I don't think you can birth a baby Gorn and then not have a drink after that.
Right.
You remember the Gorn? That was the lizard.
Yes. I love the little karate chops he's doing too.
Oh yeah,
the double karate chop. Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
We may see a Gorn there in McMinnville.
You might.
It's very possible. Extraterrestrials are bored.
Yeah.
And they're visiting here.
We're their reality TV, man. Oh, God.
So I was going to say, actually, in Star Trek, when I was going to say, in the Next Generation, there's this character called Q.
Yes.
Played by John Delancey.
Yes.
And actually, very popular character.
Great actor. It's
several different iterations with Q in it.
Yeah.
He even got spun off into Voyager. Oh. They kept him in other spin-offs. I don't know if Q ever made Deep Space Nine or not. People would comment about that. I don't recall. I don't recall Q being Deep Space Nine. Right. But Voyager, I know he several episodes. And he was from the Q.
Yes.
And they were exactly like this.
Yeah.
They had mastered the universe. He basically showed up just by appearing.
He was bored, so he wanted to create drama. I'm going to go mess with the Starfleet guys and see if I can ruffle some feathers.
I should say he was the first baddie of the pilot of Star Trek: The Next Generation. He's the guy. He puts Jean-Luc Picard and humanity on trial.
Yeah, Picard's foil.
Right.
Yeah.
But the whole point is, these guys, they don't even need starships. They can go places. They master gravity. He's like, we know everything about the universe. And they're bored.
Yep.
And so he keeps coming back and messing with Picard and the crew because he's got nothing better to do.
No, there ain't not. Well, listen, once you've mastered the powers of the universe, there ain't a whole lot left to do. I mean,
man,
after you're done checking that off the list, there ain't a whole lot.
That's like retirement at the assisted living. You're just like, there was a episode. It is.
Now I got it in my brain. Q in some assisted living place. I'm outside of like Sarasota. Bingo. Oh, I'm down for that.
As a Star Trek fan, there was an episode, and I remember watching this with my kid, and we were like, wow, that's a really good episode. And I thought it was a Next Generation episode, but no, it was one of the Q episodes in Voyager where they continued the storyline.
Okay. And
they actually went back to what they call their continuum.
Ah, okay.
And he basically goes, okay, you can't really see this. It's like looking the burning bush. It's like looking in the face of God.
Yeah.
Be the equivalent.
Like Paul says, looking through the glass darkly.
You can't look at God, right?
Yeah.
You see a burning bush.
Yeah.
You see something appearing in that, but you can't look in his eyes.
You can't handle the truth.
That's right. Yeah. So you wouldn't do that with the Q.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a representation, and they're like in this town, and everyone's just sitting there, like on a porch and stuff, and nothing's going on, and the character, it might have been Janeway, the captain. Like, what, this is the continuum? He's like, well, this is the best representation I can make of the continuum to you as a human.
Right.
She's like, what happens here? He's like, nothing. Nothing.
Nothing ever happens.
And she's and she's like, so this is the problem? And he's like, this is the problem.
Yeah.
We're bored out of our minds. There's nothing. They don't die.
Yeah.
They're omnipotent.
Yeah.
They're yeah. So there you go. And I think the story was one of them defects, and basically makes the case that he wants to become mortal and human,
to feel stuff,
because he just can't stand being immortal.
Gotcha.
And omnipotent. And the Star Trek crew is like, you might rethink that. Like, people get hit by phasers and die horrible deaths, and the warp core blows up, and
the doc's like, have you ever had shingles? It's Moida. Go back to being omnipotent.
You might have the Saurian brandy and overdo it a little bit,
Yeah.
and that's not fun.
Right.
And that scramble, that grand slam sometimes doesn't go down so well.
The moon over my hammy.
Yeah. So,
Denny's.
So what's your favorite? What is your favorite conspiracy theory?
Ooh, the well is deep and rich.
We've really dug. Speaking of a well, we've pretty much dug a hole with this episode of just like going down this path.
Right, but there's so many provocative options.
Okay,
Bigfoot, the Loch Ness monster.
Well, so does your because I think there's different classes of conspiracy theory. So we were just talking about extraterrestrials, Area 51, all the conspiracy. We believe that extraterrestrials. There were good ones and bad ones, and the bad ones were over there in 1938 with the Hitler and the Nazis, right?
Yeah,
and giving them V2 rockets and stuff. And then the good ones came over and were hanging out with Churchill and Roosevelt and Eisenhower, and were giving us the nuclear bomb, right?
We gave you the power of the Manhattan Project.
Yeah. So there's those kind of conspiracy theories, right? And Area 51. Yeah. And then there's things walking in the forest like the Bigfoot, or in the ocean.
The Chupacabra.
Yeah. And then there's the stuff we were just talking about, the E. Howard Hunt, the assassinations, and the spycraft that maybe doesn't involve Bigfoot or extraterrestrials, right?
Well, yeah, man, that's a
so where do you stand on a good conspiracy theory? Which category does it involve? Extraterrestrials?
Yeah.
My mouth is not working today. That's a conspiracy. Or hairy things in the woods, or is it just spycraft and people stealing secrets?
That's so tough, because I have some favorites. I mean, I love a good Bigfoot story. I love.
You like a good Bigfoot?
I love a good Bigfoot story.
Do you believe?
Do I believe?
Because that tinfoil hat guy,
he was full down on board. Well, I believe it's possible. I know that's kind of hedging a little bit. I believe it's possible.
Well,
but as we talked about, like the different offshoots of humanity.
That's right. It was the last episode we talked about a new bones that we discovered, brand new,
right,
of humans that we didn't know existed.
Right, a new branch off the human tree, and so I guess I'm taking the safe route by saying it's possible, and that's always kind of that alone fuels your imagination to that's a great mystery. Is there a Bigfoot?
But you like the Bigfoot.
I do like the Bigfoots.
And this is the Northwest. I mean, we live in the Northwest here, so you can't
get away from it.
Yeah,
you can't spit and not hit a Sasquatch.
There is, I believe it's Washington. I can't remember. There's Eastern Washington, but I think there's also down on the southern border, Oregon, as you going down through the redwoods too. There's these little places. There's this one place where it's like all Bigfoot stuff. Like the whole, it's one of the side towns off the highway.
Right.
And you drive past it. I can't remember where this is. And they've got like the chainsaw carvings that you can go buy. You buy all this Bigfoot stuff. Yeah. I think I got a shot glass with Bigfoot on it.
Excellent.
It's like, stop here off the highway and get your Bigfoot stuff.
Yeah, the aliens are stopping by picking up Bigfoot stuff too.
Are you kidding me?
That's their bread and butter, right?
They're like, look, they're like in the spaceship going, how do we get this thing through that drive-through redwood?
Yeah.
It's a little big. Yes, but we have gravity. We can fold matter. We can just
we'll shrink it.
We'll turn it into a Volkswagen Bug.
Right.
Okay, drive it through. Oh, this is so cool. We're driving through a tree.
Sweet.
We've come 60 million light years.
To drive through a tree.
To drive through a redwood. These people are amazing.
Right.
Look, I got Bigfoot shot glasses.
My alien parents drove through a tree, and all I got was this lousy T-shirt.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I never watched it. But we're I for whatever reason I didn't watch it. But I think we're probably like stepping on actual fiction that's been out there, like Third Rock or something like that. TV shows. We're probably actually just regurgitating these ideas.
Maybe, sure.
I just never watched that show. I think I saw a couple episodes. It was my whole trying to watch episodic television, but not doing a good job of it.
No, I've seen a couple. I'm always a big John Lithgow fan.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, I've seen a couple of that.
He's in a new movie.
Yeah.
There's a preview for a new movie.
Yeah.
And I watched it. Stars John Lithgow, and it's a lady. It's a dinner party, and it's a lady. And she's Hispanic, and Lithgow is like
says something like
Trumpian.
They're talking about immigration or something like that.
Yeah,
they're sitting around
is it Selma Hayek? I think
could be.
So all-star.
Could be,
and it's just real uncomfortable.
It's very uncomfortable,
and it's kind of they're kind of saying, hey, this is a movie for our time,
right?
I mean, he's asking her like where she's from and if she's all that stuff. So I don't know. I'll watch Rogue One.
Have you seen The Crown?
No, I haven't.
Oh, Lithgow, he plays Winston Churchill. Brilliant. Really good.
Wait. Of course I did.
Yeah,
The
good
Crown,
stuff.
of course. Yeah. No, I watched that whole thing. The TV series it was just on.
Yeah.
Season 1. It was on Netflix. Yeah, he plays Churchill. He's excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Great actor.
Where the lady's on the other side of the bathroom door and he's taking a bath and all this water's come spilling out,
Yeah.
He's like, she's like trying to dictate what he says. He's just got a cigar hanging out.
He's got a cigar in his mouth. Yeah, I did watch that.
I think my favorite. I gotta go. I think deep at the heart of it. I think I have to go with like the more man-made conspiracies. I'll have to go with like maybe JFK and
the spy craft.
Yeah, because as you know, I'm a kid of the 70s and 80s, born in '69. And when I look back, and it's that time that's just before me, right? And so it seems almost tangible, but you just can't get back there because you're born just a few years too late, right? And so one of the major things I used to talk about, me and my dad, I was like, Pops, what was it like back in talk to me. You're sitting in your office, it's 1963, and you just hear JFK is assassinated. Walter Cronkite almost breaks down on air.
I think he did, really.
What was it like? What were you feeling at that? Because that's always infinitely interesting to me. You were there, man. What did it feel like? What went through your head when you saw this? And stuff like that. So JFK, because there's so many unanswered questions, and it's this real huge. You talked about it a little bit earlier. It's just like this huge conspiracy onion, right? That you keep peeling back layers, and yet there's another layer, and it's got that so inconclusive stuff that you just, you almost want to believe, right? Because you want to believe that that there was something different than just a magical bullet or whatever it is, a lone gunman, because that's how really messed up humans are. That something like that, like a lone gunman, it's so prosaic, right? It's just like vanilla. I don't want no magic bullet guy in some Texas depository. There's got to be something. There's got to be,
right?
But there is. But there's strings that have that people have tried to unravel and stuff that has a lot of. Some of it has, a little kernel of truth to it, and that's what makes you run down the rabbit hole even deeper, right? So yeah, I'd have to say the whole JFK, any sort of government conspiracy gets my gets my antenna flying. That would be it. I mean, there are other things in history that, great mysteries in history, like Göbekli Tepe.
What's that?
Oh, it's this excavation, and I believe it is in northern Turkey, and it is thousands upon thousands of years old, and they think it was like an old religious site, pagan religious site.
Oh, yeah.
If you go just Google Göbekli Tepe.
I don't think we have to look at how you spell that.
Goblekitepi.
Uh-huh.
There you go. And it's very interesting, really, because it's almost like, were these the guys that were? I mean, is this the site? It's even just the further north, but could this be like something like just out of Eden, right? That early, and then the Google it.
Right,
Göbekli Tepe. Tepe. There's like a field, and they found all these like sort of some bones, and there's some that, now this is where the conspiracy starts, where they're like giant bones, right?
Oh,
and there's like, wow, maybe that's Anunnaki, early.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So
I don't think we talked about that just in science. Well, I think we mentioned it. There were mastodon bones that were found in California,
yes.
And there weren't human bones there, but they were arranged very interestingly, as if like hunted and slaughtered, and so they're like, hey, humans probably were in California in the North America area a lot sooner than we thought.
Right.
So,
especially those different offshoots of humanity,
Yeah, yeah.
Could they hunt?
I think so. As far as conspiracies go,
yeah,
I think part of it, especially the ones that involve government and spycraft. Well, there's a great technique if you're in spycraft is to tell stories. Fake news, fake stories.
Muddy the water. Yeah.
To hide what you're really doing.
Yep.
And so I think in many cases, too, a lot of conspiracy theories are born of disinformation campaigns.
Sure.
So you got to like this in Watergate, follow the money, really kind of to find the truth.
Right.
The truth is out there. Speaking
Cue
of
the
the
X-Files
60s.
music. Yes.
You like the 60s. If you think of bands, you think of musicians.
60s, sure. 60s, you think of Beatles, the Rolling Stones,
Yeah. How about a very innovative guitarist that came out of the 60s? Like one of the most innovative of all time.
Well, were you talking Clapton? Were we talking Jeff Beck?
How about a little Jimi Hendrix?
Oh, Jimmy, Seattle, Washington, yeah.
Yeah.
I love Jimmy. I love a good Jimmy, yeah.
Do you know, I'll put this up, Rolling Stone 3 days ago. It's going to blow your mind. I'll put this up. Jimi Hendrix, Are You Experienced? 10 Things You Didn't Know. Now, the reason they put this up here is Are You Experienced, released in the spring of 1967, 50 years ago.
Oh, I feel so old.
Are You Experienced, this album was released, and this was just like kind of, what do you say about Are You Experienced? This launched Jimi Hendrix and the sound. I mean, it
changed,
blew your mind, right?
It changed the face of rock and roll, because up until that time, it was like kind of bubblegum pop music and very swingy, and there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, Beatles stuff.
The Beatles were coming out doing their thing, yeah.
Yeah, and here comes Jimmy that just kind of throws everything in a loop, much like when the gauntlet was thrown down in 1978, when Eddie Van Halen, when you first heard Eruption for the very first time, you're like, holy crap,
what is this?
Yeah, what is this? And so when Jimmy busts out in Purple Haze, you're like, holy crap, this is different,
And that's I think, when people first, not everyone took to it. It was, what's that noise? Yeah. One of the things they say in this article is when they sent the master off to press in the U.S., U.S. version of Are You Experienced, they literally put a note in the tape that said, this is intentionally distorted, don't fix it.
Right, yeah.
It was like, when you listen to this, that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
because he really was the first guitarist to really have that huge distortion fuzz box.
Yep.
The fuzz box was invented for him. This Octavia, this octave box.
Yeah.
He was the first guy to get a hold of this and use this.
Yeah.
One of the other things that they talk about in here is the whole album. They were a struggling band. And Hendrix was playing side gigs and doing all sorts of things, and he had just formed the Experience with Mitch Mitchell and Noel Redding.
Yeah.
And they were just doing gigs as they were getting into the studio and started recording RU Experience. And so not a lot of rehearsal time.
No.
And they didn't have a lot of money for studio time. And so they, in between gigs, it's like, okay, we got to run over, jump in the studio and try to record something. So a lot of these tunes and a lot of these things are fresh. Very fresh with the band and Hendrix.
Right. And that is proven in the songs, too, because the songs have kind of a very raw sound to them. And, it's interesting. I mean, think about it. Hendrix is playing in the States. He's usually the backup guy in different swing.
He was on the Chitlin circuit.
Yeah.
Back in the day in the U.S. before he moved to London.
Right. And so when he started experimenting with that sound, in America, it just didn't click. So, hey, guy, hey, man, I love your sound. Let's go back to England. And you're going to be a huge hit over there. And sure enough, he goes over to London, and then that's when they formed, the Experience, and things started really clicking. And remember the huge shock everyone got when they're like, what do you mean he's from America? Jimi Hendrix, really? And so when he shows up at Monterey, was his first real huge breakout show.
That's right.
So Monterey, and then you got guys in the, think about who's in the audience, right? You got these guys like the Mamas and the Papas, you got like Eric Clapton, you got all these guys. They're like, have heard about him, but never heard, he's kind of the mysterious guy, right?
I always get mixed up because there was a Monterey Pop Festival.
Yeah.
And then there
was Monterey Jazz, right?
And then there was Woodstock.
Yes, yeah.
And I always get mixed up because a lot of the same acts, because Jimmy famously did Woodstock too.
Yeah.
He was the morning act. He was like, it's
Star
like in the middle of the day.
Banner,
no
man.
one's there. There's trash everywhere. If you look at the movie, he comes out and does the Star Spangled Banner, and then I think he does Purple Haze or breaks into, I think.
Yeah.
And it's just like, no one's there, or everyone's hungover, and it's just a mess. And he's just like, because he wasn't that big of a deal.
Right.
Yet.
69, yeah.
First recording. October 1966.
Yeah.
Just after Hendrix, Redding, and Mitchell entered London's Delane Lee Studios to record a soulful cover of Billy Roberts' folk rock standard, "Hey Joe."
Where you going with that gun?
That gun in your hands.
Right. Hey Joe.
I have to say, is it Patti Smith that does the punk back in the 70s, the "Hey Joe"?
I think you're right. Yeah,
that's a good one too. I really like that one. That kind of broke her out there too. But anyway, released 7 weeks later as a single. So they were kind of, they were still. Remember, this wasn't always just albums. This was back in the day where singles were dropped. And so they released that as a single.
The 45, man.
And it hit number 6 on the UK charts. And I think it didn't do squat in America.
No.
So given their recent formation, the Hey Joe session was a challenging one for musicians, but it effectively set the sonic template for what would become RU Experienced.
Right.
And Chaz Chandler, who was the famous producer of Jimmy, really responsible for bringing Jimmy to the world. Because you always need, you need a producer. You need someone, who's the guy from the Beatles, right?
Brian, was it Brian something?
Yeah, I can't remember. Sorry, Beatles fans. Yeah. But there's always somebody who kind of is in there with the band.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, not the Police though. I just watched this documentary about the Police. They were their own producers.
Right.
Then they fought about it. But anyway, but most bands have a producer that comes in and really shapes the record and shapes them. And if it's successful, you go on and maybe, Chaz, I think, produced a lot of their stuff. But the Marshalls were too much for the mics. And Chaz and Jimmy rowed over recording volume. So Jimmy wanted to play loud and all that.
Crank it, yeah.
And they can't deal with it in the studio. And the studio, according to this article in Rolling Stone, you can look it up, was in a building with a bank. So they'd go in there to record some tracks. The Jimi Hendrix Experience, right?
Next to a
the
bank.
Loud, probably this was when rock started getting loud.
Yes.
You remember when the Beatles came to America?
Yeah.
First time. They played Shea Stadium.
Yes.
And famously, this was before arena, this was pre-arena rock. Nobody could hear them, apparently. The crowd yelled. People screamed, right? The Beatles.
This tiny little stage, right?
They had tiny little amps, the little those classic. I can't remember the name of them. People would know the little tiny amps and all that.
Oh yeah.
And then by the 70s, you have giant PAs, and you got the Who at so many decibels.
Right.
So that Hendrix is kind of in there. So. Despite its cohesive sound, Are You Experience was actually recorded in bits and pieces over a 5-month period because they were running between the studio and all that. Mitch Mitchell, the drummer, who I sadly but famously, and I always say this, you can look this up, Mitch Mitchell passed away, I believe it was 2010 in Portland, Oregon, in a hotel in Portland, Oregon.
Wow.
Yeah. It was I remember, and then it was wait, he was at the Governor Hotel or something. And it was Mitch,
Yeah.
I think he was still hanging out and performing and stuff. And
that's cool. Yeah.
A heart attack. That stuck in my head because I think I was live doing a podcast and I read I was here and I read this news and I was like, Mitch Mitchell? Oh, what? Wait, Portland, Oregon? What?
Yeah.
So Mitch came in, and Mitch, one of the great rock drummers, crazy swinging lead drums, which he and Hendrix, famously really kind of played off of each other, right? Yeah. But the thing is he was not a punctual guy. So they would book this precious studio time to try and get a recording out for the Experience. And one day he just overslept and didn't show up. And so Jimmy was kind of he had another drummer that he was hanging out with, and he was about ready to
replace him,
fire Mitch and replace him.
Wow.
Which is Mercy Beats drummer John Banks almost became the Experience drummer.
Interesting.
Yeah, which is weird because if you think of the Jimi Hendrix Experience, you think of those three guys, and when you look at the live shows and you got Jimmy driving his guitar into his Marshall and lighting it on fire, and you just look back and it's Mitch Mitchell and it's all it's like arms and hands and sticks and you know what I mean? Yeah. It's just crazy. It's similar I would say Keith Moon.
Yes.
A bit, Yeah. Different style, different drummers though. Speaking as a drummer, but still that kind of just wow, man.
He's whizzing it.
It's going off, man.
It's interesting because if he was replaced, I wonder how that would have changed the sound. Because he had such a unique syncopation and a touch to it that I don't know. We know Hendrix tragically died very early, which was oh man, what music was in you that you didn't leave with us. But, famously the Experience did break up toward the end of his career. He was... And it was a band of gypsies. Yep.
And
Billy Preston, right? A lot of...
Larry Young from John McLaughlin and those guys. Billy...
That's a Billy something. I remember Billy.
Yeah, it was the drummer. Billy Guy.
Okay.
I think it's Billy Guy.
There you go.
And so if you listen to those later recordings, getting into Electric Ladyland, and then they released the tapes after he died, of Band of Gypsies and that sort of thing.
Right,
you kind of hear where he's going, and he's really it is uncanny how different it is because you have our Experience, this acid rock,
psychedelic,
loud,
man,
psychedelic in your face.
Yeah,
dare I say, as I don't know, like almost, you don't hear this until, like you said, you don't hear this sound or a continuation of this innovative sound until you get to Van Halen 1.
Yep.
I would say.
Yep.
Like, where it really is like, holy crap, where did that wall of sound come from now?
Right, where the gauntlet is put down. There's a whole new sound, a whole new thing. Yes, people have been finger tapping before Eddie came along, but this is the guy that just...
Yeah, I mean, there were other that you can look through if you're a real rock historian, and I know some people who were really deep rock historians, and you can go through. But I mean, really not, not Jimmy Page, not Led Zeppelin, because that's more a continuation of the Yardbirds going into that.
Right.
It's really, I've always said that it's really Hendrix, and it's not until we get to Eddie Van Halen that you hear that whole sonic, in your face, because when you heard that Van Halen album, you were like, "What is that? That's a guitar?
Yeah,
that
Eruption.
Like how can you fit any more frequencies in there? Because and that was like Hendrix with the Experience,
right? Was
essentially with the '60s technology.
Yeah,
that's what he was doing.
Yep.
But then when you get into post Experience, you hear Hendrix, master bluesman.
Yeah.
Master. I mean, this is the one thing
where he learned,
when he died. You know that had he continued his career, he would have put out some of the baddest blues albums. I mean, this guy. Yeah. There is a scene in a documentary movie that they made with him, and he's in the white. It was like the '60s. He's in this white thing. He's all dressed up. He's wearing a hat, and he was part Indian American, so he always had like a feather and all that stuff.
Yeah, the ostrich plume in there.
Yeah. And he's playing a 12-string guitar, not a 6-string, a 12-string acoustic, and he's just jamming out a blues song and then singing. And it's probably one of my favorite like rock clips that I've ever seen. Like that was when I saw that.
Yeah.
I had already been like falling in love with his music, but then when I saw that in the theater, I was like, oh my God, this guy is a god. I just can't, I mean, this is like listening to Coltrane or something. This is just like, I'm getting chills,
Right.
But he was playing that, and he was, and with the band of Gypsies, he was moving into the heavy funk.
Yes.
I mean, it's just like, and all of that, like they talked about like the Isley Brothers and all that came out of the 70s. They're all like, Jimmy,
he was the guy that...
Jimmy.
Right, yeah.
And for me... Are You Experience is a fantastic album.
Yep.
But it's tough. It's like Beatles albums, right?
Yeah.
What's your favorite Beatle? Well,
is it Sgt. Pepper's? Is it the white? Right. Beatles white.
Well, with Jimmy, it's like you could have Are You Experience, but even they mention in the Rolling Stone, like the next Axis
Bold as Love, yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
But then for me, you get to two albums, Electric Ladyland.
Yeah.
And that is one of the most haunting rock records.
Yeah.
And I still have it on vinyl.
Excellent.
And about a year ago, the lights went out late at night.
Yeah.
And put on the turntable.
There you go.
And just listen to the sides. And I was hanging out with somebody, and I said, "Have you ever just listened to this record?" And it's like, "Yeah, let's light candles. Let's turn out the lights. Let's listen to it." And Voodoo Child and all that. Oh man, it doesn't get any better than that.
No.
I mean, it's haunting, really.
It is.
His voice, his guitar.
Yeah.
So, can you tell that I like Jimi Hendrix?
Sure.
Who knew? Right?
Who doesn't, though? I mean, usually he's the universal.
You know what kills me?
Yeah.
Slays me.
Slays you.
Because all the times I've ever been up to Seattle.
Yeah, never been to his grave.
I've never been to his grave.
Me either, yeah.
And not only his grave, but Bruce Lee's grave.
That's right.
Both of them. So I have this bucket list. Next time I'm in Seattle, I want to just go, just as a stupid pilgrimage. I'm not even into that sort of thing.
Right.
I was in Paris. I think I saw Jim Morrison's grave.
Père Lachaise,
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. That's like it's in the famous place.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen Jim Morrison, but not. Just drive up to Seattle. You can go to their grave sites.
Yeah.
I did go to the Experience Music Project though. And they had a huge, because Paul Allen, who owns all that stuff, huge Jimi Hendrix fan.
Huge.
So he has bought all kinds of artifacts and things like that. And it's crazy. They're in the museum, right? And you go down in the basement and you walk in this room, and what is it? It's Captain Kirk's chair, literally from the TV show, right there, right in front of you. It's from the television show. Like Paul Allen had bought the Enterprise.
That's fantastic.
Chair.
Yeah.
And then you go upstairs, and we're in this room, and it's all the Jimi Hendrix Experience. Their clothing, all that stuff, like on the album that you see, the stuff that they're wearing, all the crazy psychedelic clothes, like all there. And guitars and stuff. And man, I'll tell you what. Like they had like Mitch Mitchell's clothes. Mm-hmm. We were looking at it going, that guy was small.
Yeah.
Like I was like, there's no way I could fit into that.
Right. Yeah.
Like small of stature guy. Like I was like, that's his clothes.
It must have been maybe 5'3" or something like that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, wow, that's tiny. But
Mitch, you're tiny.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, it's great drummer. But anyway, the Experience Music Project, and I don't know if that was a special deal. I mean, I know they own it or they swap it out or whatever. But we happened to be there when they had all this Jimi Hendrix stuff, and I was just like, Jimi Hendrix, look, and everyone's like, yeah, we don't care.
Wow.
I'm like, my kid, and I'm trying to get the kids like, hey, you know. I know, because the kids do like the old music.
Oh yeah,
we found out. I know the kid, because kind of it's like flying around the universe and having the masters of the gravity, light speed, doing everything. You've got a computer, you've got digital. You can make any sound. You can create anything.
Yeah.
And what do? You're bored. It's like, let's go back and listen to some old records, man.
Right.
When they had to struggle to get that on a tape, you know?
Right, yeah.
But yeah, the kid, I was like, oh yeah, you know, Hendrix, he's like really, you got to check it out. So, but it was like, I don't know. I don't see it or whatever. It's like, all right, well, maybe someday you'll get the whole psychedelia thing.
Right.
None of the album's original songs were performed live by the Experience before they were recorded, and many were rehearsed for the first time right before the tape rolled.
Wow, so you're getting raw right there. You're a Genesis right there.
Yeah, the Octavia. I mentioned this. The Octavia pedal, the octave doubling guitar effect, made its debut on Purple Haze.
There you go.
Purple Haze isn't really about an acid trip. He had said that he had a dream. And then it was came from a dream he had about he was walking through an ocean and there was a purple haze.
Wow. There you go.
Hendrix hated the UK cover of Are You Experience and wanted the US version to look more like a Hollies album cover. So the album cover was there was a picture here, and the US version is the one we're familiar with, the iconic psychedelic. So they had they had a drab black and white photo of the three of them, and they were just kind of standing there around, you know, they're Noel and Mitch are like hanging out, just kind of black and white, and Jimmy hated that, and then he hooked up with this he liked this photographer Carl Ferris, and he talked to Carl and he said, I want my album cover to look like the music, like the psychedelic stuff. And so Carl had some innovative like fisheye lenses and all that. And Carl also dressed them too. Wow. Not only did he do the cover, he was also the designer. Wow. So he got them in those crazy...
The whole look.
And it doesn't get any more iconic than that.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at Are You Experience in the crazy font, and the fisheye and the stuff, you know, you just maybe want to go have a trip, man.
Right. Let's go have a trip, bro. Let's take some peyote and go to the desert, man.
You got Joe Friday and Frank Gannon on your butt, man. After that,
right?
You're pretty high and far out listening to that Jimi Hendrix music, aren't you, son?
Dun, 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 dun.
Exactly. Dun, dun, dun. So that was the thing.
Yeah.
It's a nice photo of him playing in Golden Gate Park in '67 in this article. I'll throw it up here. I just love this. I love this look. You know, the Jimmy in the clothes and the crazy psychedelic. It just doesn't. Man, it's just so good, so good. Everyone's like, oh, this guy really likes Jimi Hendrix. Hey Joe and Purple Haze both stiffed as singles in the U.S., and we know that. It just radio airplay. They didn't know what to do with them.
No, they didn't.
Was 80. This was before, right?
Yeah.
We talked about this on the last
FM.
show.
Yeah.
Before the album-oriented FM was to debut a little bit later, and had Hendrix.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, KGON played Hendrix.
Yeah.
We talked about that.
Right, but no, I mean regular
AM radio.
Yeah, because up until then you had like the bubblegum pop, right?
Archie's.
Yes, the Hollies. You talk about the Hollies.
Yeah, Archie's, the Sugar Sugar. That's right. Some of Simon and Garfunkel's stuff.
Yep.
I Am a Rock.
Yeah,
I actually remember these songs.
Of course, the Beatles. You had that sort of brand.
I Want to Hold Your Hand.
Yes,
that sort of thing. So Hendrix, Purple Haze, and all that. Yeah, it doesn't quite fit in with the happy-go-lucky in U.S. radio. Do you know the interesting factoid that they don't mention here?
Okay.
Do you know who he went on tour with and opened with? The Are You Experience? Very infamous story.
Ooh, gosh.
Think of a band that was actually on radio, AM radio, had hits, had a very popular television show on Saturday mornings.
Yes. I remember, yes. They grouped them. They didn't know what the hell to do with them, so they shoved them on a tour with the Monkees. Right.
So the opening act was Jimi Hendrix.
Oh, yeah.
Experience.
Yeah.
And then the Monkees.
Yeah.
And the audience for the Monkees were teeny boppers.
Oh, yeah.
People, like I said, they had a Saturday morning show. They were a made-up band.
Right. Yes.
Kind of patterned after the Beatles, kind of a, and then there was the Partridge Family later, and, there was these family band things.
Yeah.
But the Monkees, they had hits.
Yeah.
Right? This whole
I'm
promotion.
a believer.
I'm a believer, right? And so they were filling up, venues.
Yeah.
And there were kids there.
Oh, yeah.
And parent chaperones.
And here comes Jimmy.
All right, baby. Are you experienced?
Right, he's setting his guitar on fire.
Please, in my brain. Setting his guitar on fire. So,
yeah.
And the audience is going to be like, what the hell is going on, man?
Right, yeah.
I don't know if I've always wondered, and I haven't looked into if there's a lot of footage and all that. But
from the Monkees tour, that would be interesting because we got these young kids in the crowd, and here he comes.
Well, he goes from in the UK.
Yeah.
Another little of I say I really can drill down on this because I love all these guys.
Yeah.
In the UK, he was opening for The Nice, which was Keith Emerson, who later did Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this was like, in the UK, man, it was like music. Just throw a rock and go see a band, and you'll see something that'll blow your mind. Innovation, rock and roll.
Yeah, I heard stories about, Hendrix, they're playing some club somewhere in London, and McCartney and Lennon show up because everyone's saying, dude, you got to check this guy out, man. He's doing stuff nobody's done yet. And so they're sitting there, and the quote, I guess Lennon looked at McCartney and said, this guy is going to change everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And they're huge. I mean, Clapton showed up there, early Yardbird stuff. I mean, they're all migrating here. Marian Faithfull, they're all migrating to these clubs to watch Hendrix play because, I mean, he was almost like the best kept secret at that point. Here's this guy, it's American,
And then he ends up touring with the Monkees, and it's like they can't get him on the radio.
Right, yeah, the Monkees.
Right, it's like it reminds me of the old jazz guys, who like after the war, like when rock and roll got popular in the U.S., and everyone was like, yeah, we don't want to listen to jazz. Jazz, forget that old jazz stuff. And so they all went to Europe and places where people were like, "Oh man, let's listen to some bebop and all that." Charlie Mingus is getting evicted from his New York apartment. Famous film, you got to watch it. Documentary.
Okay.
He's carrying a shotgun or a rifle, and they're evicting. The cops are evicting him from his apartment. Mingus, because there's documentarian people, black and white, doing a documentary about him, and so they capture all this stuff.
Mingus,
him yelling at the cops, and he's walking around with a gun, and oh man, it doesn't get any better. Really,
beautiful.
But I always say that. But Yeah. So yeah, Hendrix.
Yeah.
And they talk about he was a hit with black listeners as well as white with the R&B roots, and they talk about kind of his influence there. The last one, I love this because this is a Rolling Stone article 50 years ago. Number 10, Rolling Stone gave the album a less than favorable write-up. So they mea culpa.
That is so, and I don't want to sound dramatic, but that is so Rolling Stone, right?
Yeah. Are You Experienced had already been out for 2.5 months by the time the debut issue of Rolling Stone hit the streets. But since Hendrix's success was one of the year's biggest musical stories, John Landau offered his take on the album for the issue. His impressions were decidedly mixed, despite
I don't get it.
Quotes, despite Jimmy's musical brilliance and the group's total precision, he wrote, the poor quality of the songs and the innatity of the lyrics too often get in the way.
Oh, boy.
Though he praised the band's instrumental virtuosity, Landau slammed their brash attack, concluding that the sum total of all this is pure violence. It's pure violence. Well, Mitch Mitchell, the violent drums.
Yeah.
Above all, this record is unrelentingly violent and lyrically, inartistically violent at that. Wow. Violence.
Yeah.
Dig it if you can. Dig it if you can.
Right.
But for me, I'd rather hear Jimmy play the blues.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it sounds like it's mixed. Like, the guy's kind of like, yeah, okay.
He recognizes the genius, but it's just the sound just isn't catching with him.
Well, and I do think when I was a kid, and there was this period where it was a period where I'm thinking late 70s, kind of, they started finding more tapes.
Yes.
Right? They go into vaults and they're like, hey, what's this tape? Hey, this is Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
We didn't know this was here, right?
Yeah.
So they started finding more and more tapes, as they do with musicians who pass away suddenly and quickly if they did a lot of recording. And Hendrix did do a lot of recording as late. A lot of jamming with famous people. And so they started mixing and releasing tapes. And so Hendrix, they were doing a lot of articles about Hendrix. I think it was like, 10 year anniversary, of all that, or his death or whatever. And so I started getting into Hendrix. And this was probably around the time of Van Halen coming out and all that. And I remember that when I listened to his record, I remember Are You Experienced was a little rough.
Yeah.
Just the sonic sound of, wow, that's real edgy,
Right, yeah. But that's what makes it so cool. I mean, at the time, you're used to all this bubblegum pop stuff, so I'm sure it sets you on edge. But when you come out, like, now our days, like, wow, man, this guy was so ahead of his time.
Well, I think that, hearing it like 10 years... Yeah. Well, later, when you then have Van Halen and you have all this other stuff which is happening, that obviously technology has progressed. You're kind of like, it's you gotta like put yourself in the context of that recording. It's like listening to the old Beatles records instead of Sgt. Pepper's, and the thing that they never do today. Right? It's like, ooh, he's over there in that speaker. Because stereophonic was the new thing, right?
Ooh, groovy.
Ooh, groovy. Ooh, look, the organ went over there now,
Yeah. I
mean, this like kind of quaint thing that happened.
Yeah.
So it was but you sort of picked up on it, and then if you think about like Purple Haze, that sort of thing, you're like, wow, how could it not be just that crazy edgy rough, Octavia fuzz sound.
Look what he did with the Dylan song All Along the Watchtower.
Right.
And it's like even Dylan, when he heard that, he was like, crap.
Well, that's that's where I got, then it was that, and then I got to Electric Layla, and I went, whoa. And the I think one of the first tunes I ever had heard like on the radio, on KGON, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Was his version of All Along the Watchtower, which is this insane
Said the Joker to the thief, man.
But it's this insane spectacle of what you could do with the guitar.
Yes.
At the time.
Yeah.
Like there's 10. He does like 10 different. He does like 10 different solos with different sounds and effects.
Yeah.
All in one song.
Yeah.
It's like, well, we'll do this. We'll do the echo. He had the Echoplex, which was the tape echo.
Yeah.
I mean, it just...
Well, how much of an innovator this guy is. He associated sound and tone with emotion, right? So if you layered stuff like that, you'd get such a rich texture of sound. Every time you listen to it, even years later when you just slap it on and you listen to it, it brings back... Or even you realize there's something new that you hadn't figured out before. And so that's how you know something lives on decade after decade, is because just the sheer brilliance of it, you know?
Yeah. Man, haunting tune.
Yeah.
And if you're good out there, if you're nice, I might do something nice and let it play for you as we
leave. As the show's winding down here, right? I'm gonna throw this out there, and this is your homework here for the week.
Monday.
Because we're not going to be here Wednesday.
That's right.
We come back on, Friday?
We do come back on Friday.
So between now and Friday, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to your favorite NetBox thingity, whether it's your phone, laptop, computer, and I want you to enter this. Ready? The Curse of 27.
The Curse of 27?
The Curse of... It's a real curse. It's a rock and roll curse.
Are you okay? So we're holding that for Friday, right?
Yes.
We're not even saying.
We're not even saying that. I'm just going to throw that teaser out there. The Curse of 27. There's been books written about it.
Okay.
It's a very superstitious thing in the rock world. That's all I'm going to say. The Curse of 27. Look it up. There you
go. The biggest news story, I think.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah.
Kind of hit over the weekend. Because missiles, Trump,
Yeah.
Same old.
Yeah.
Do you like Sharpies?
I do.
Sharpies. The Sharpie.
I do.
14th,
I love me a good Sharpies.
Sharpie is giving away free 24 marker set to everyone on its 14th anniversary, Jason.
Nice.
Free Sharpies for everyone.
Who can't use a Sharpie, right? I mean, you always use a Sharpie. Back in the day, I burned a CD. Oh, I got to write on it.
Fake tattoos.
Fake tattoos.
Right.
Or if you just need something with permanent marker, right? You want something, you Sharpie it. Yeah.
TriMet is shaking in their boots right now.
The Sharpies.
No, don't use the Sharpie to face things. Use it for nice things. But Sharpies, free Sharpies, 14th anniversary.
Nice.
14th anniversary. That doesn't make any sense.
So let me ask you this question.
I thought Sharpie's been around for longer than that.
How does one get a hold of a Sharpie then? The free thing that's going around.
So I did. Here's what happened.
Okay.
Let me show you. I did go up to the Sharpie site.
Ooh.
I did click on the link, and here's what I have. Sharpie, blah, 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 US. This is probably going to give me that big virus that's going around right now, which we didn't talk about.
They call it the randomware? What was it called?
Gonna Cry. Is it Gonna Cry?
Yeah.
Wanna Cry. Cry. The big ransomware.
Ransomware, yes.
We'll have a big update on that, I'm sure.
Right.
As we've been ransomed. Congratulations, you have been selected to take part in our short survey to get Sharpie 24 marker set.
Oh,
we only
24.
have wait a minute. We only have 823 gifts remaining, so hurry up. Dude, I better get on this. Come on.
Okay, let's do this. You don't want to do it on the air, though, because you don't want
I might as well. Yeah.
On the air?
Well, let's see.
Well, you don't want to show people your personal information, though, as you're filling out stuff.
Wanna Cry is going to have it already.
There you go.
Gonna Cry. Wanna Cry.
Is
that a Hendrix song? I think it was. Wanna Cry.
Wind Cries Mary.
One of three, Jason. Have you ever used a Sharpie markers? Yes?
Of course.
No, don't remember.
Remember.
There's first of all, what human being has never used a Sharpie before?
That's like a sober, stoned question.
Exactly.
I don't remember, dude.
I know.
I don't know, man.
I was really... I woke up and I had marks all over my body, man.
Right.
And my bros, made fake tattoos. I'm
right.
gonna say yes.
They gave me this mustache thing, dude, and I don't know. Was it Sharpie? I don't know. Just it wouldn't come off, bro. I was passed out. I had too much peyote.
Oh, man. 2 of 3. Have you ever bought a Sharpie 24 marker set for a family or friend or family? I don't recall. I don't
remember. That's my stoned moment. I don't remember, dude.
I'm going to say they're specific. It's 24 marker set. I haven't bought Sharpies over the years.
Yeah.
I think they were under 24. I think they were like the 12 or the 10. So I'm going to say no. All right.
Okay.
Number 3, have you ever been dissatisfied by a Sharpie marker?
Wow.
Jason.
Wow.
Jason.
Damn you, Sharpie!
How can you fail me?
Right.
It's like some bizarre...
Right. I'm drawing a mustache on some drunk passed out dude, and it loses its ink after one side. What am I going to do? Damn you! You know?
Was this a scene out of an episode of MacGyver where he's trying to make a missile out of a Sharpie and it fails?
Right.
He's like, oh, damn, I got to run.
Right, he's got his pipe cleaner and he's trying to rig the Sharpie to become some missile that's going to blow out the wall to get him out of there. It's like, oh, damn you, Sharpie!
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean...
Ever failed you?
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Boys and girls. Non-binary folks. Everyone. Mm-hmm. Have you ever been dissatisfied by a Sharpie marker?
Sounds like something a marriage counselor would ask. Have you ever been dissatisfied with Sharpies? My Marvin, he won't let me use them. When I use them, they're all used up. I'm so dissatisfied.
There's a husband joke in there somewhere.
Oh, there's a whole lot of them.
I just don't understand the question.
Right.
I mean, a Sharpie marker, it's a Sharpie. It's like, I was going to say, we have to show one.
That's great.
Have one here?
Has it ever let you down, you know?
Is there one here?
Yeah, it let me down.
Oh, see, this isn't a Sharpie. See, I don't want to do it. Okay.
All right.
So now I'm let down because all
you
the
know
Sharpies,
what a Sharpie is. You don't Google
Sharpies all over here.
Yeah.
But it's like a plastic. You pull the cap off. Mm-hmm. There's the ink. You draw the mustache on your drunk friend.
Right, and there's different colors.
Let's do pink. Yeah, so have I ever been... yes, no, don't remember.
I don't remember if I've been
What's the right answer here, Jason?
Oh,
I don't recall ever once in my life...
Dissatisfied? No, you've never been dissatisfied.
Going, damn it!
Right, they're consistent. I'd go for a no, because you've never been dissatisfied with the Sharpie.
All right. Let's go for no.
Let's go for no.
Let's be good survey people. Congratulations, you've been selected to take part in our short survey. Yes.
Sweet.
Sending you your answer to Sharpie.com, analyzing your answers. Congratulations, you won a Sharpie 24 marker set.
Nice.
And welcome to WannaCry virus. Share this page. Step 2, click like, verifying steps, and it's spinning wheel.
Spinning wheel.
That's right. I'm guessing this is my ad blocker, possibly. All right. So that's a Sharpie challenge.
That's right.
Asking the age-old question: have you ever been dissatisfied by your Sharpie marker?
Where so many options to go in that question.
That's
Have you
right.
ever been dissatisfied? Because it's not like has our product ever do you like our product? It's yeah, sure, I like it. It's, have you ever been dissatisfied with it? Well, I can't remember.
That's right.
Usually it works.
You're not using it as a writing instrument. And I think with that,
right.
Have a happy Monday.
Yeah,
Jason.
yeah.
Let's be careful out there.
Yep. Have a good week, everybody. We'll see you back here on Friday for some more hijinks, hoopla, merriment, monkey shines.
And here's something special for you.